So I decided to give painting shoes a go because, I don't know, it just looked interesting and my nephews needed a present for Christmas. I bought $10 canvas shoes from Kmart in Australia, and I don't know if you can see it. I painted, I wonder if it's better that way. I don't know if you can see there. I ended up doing painting a reproduction of sorts of Hokusai's painting, famous woodcut print actually, called the Great Wave, and it was really interesting and really fun. So, I mean, by the way, this particular design has been done before gazillions of times. Like, it's all over the internet. You can even buy them off eBay and all sorts of things just as sneakers. But it got me looking into the artist Hokusai and just kind of looking at his life and the painting and everything about it, and it was really interesting. So I thought I'd let you come along with the process, and I'm going to talk to you about the wonderful artist Hokusai. I found this really tricky just to get a handle on trying to incorporate a design in the shape of the shoe, because a lot of it is covered up with laces, but I think it relies a lot on the colour choice and, you know, just the paring it down to basic elements, which interestingly is what Hokusai really did when he did his woodcut prints. So I'll just, to show you what I'm doing, I'm just with a pen. I've got Posca pens, so I had Posca pens, and they were really useful just at the end to sharpen things up, working with this particular sort of design. Anyway, so what I found out about Master Hokusai, it was interesting to me just because this was done during a time where Japan was quite isolated. Like, I think around the 1830s, it was Japan closed its borders to everybody in the world, and they became really quite insular, and you know, foreigners and anything from the outside was sort of met with a lot of suspicion, I guess. And anyone, if you left Japan, it was punished by death. So Japan had like a really strong social order that was set in place. It was the emperor and the nobles, and the shoguns were at the top, the first samurai, the farming peasants, the artisans and merchants, in that order, and no one mixed with anyone else, kind of a thing. It was very strict. But even though they weren't allowed to intermingle, eventually the merchants that were down the bottom ended up becoming a lot more affluent, or not really affluent, but they were able to purchase art and books and get a bit of an education. And so this underground kind of scene developed in Japan's major city of Edo, which is now called Tokyo. And honestly, things never change in the world, do they? Like, there was like a red light district, but also there was this cultural mix of theatres and playhouses, and there was kabuki theatres, and the kabuki actors kabuki theatres were playhouses where it was only male actors, and they were a popular thing. And so many of the woodcut prints of the day, because they were cheaper than to buy a painting, they were purchased by the merchants, and they became really popular. And just like today, it was sort of fan art, so the kabuki actors, popular actors, would be depicted in these woodcut prints. So in Hokusai's time, it wasn't really that popular to have woodcut prints of landscapes, so he kind of ended up, because of that, he sort of grabbed this niche for himself, and his popularity grew when people started to travel around Japan a lot more, and they could relate to his depiction of famous landscapes, kind of a thing. And so people would collect these things. So I think the biggest thing with Hokusai as well is that he really did depict like peasant life and the landscape, and And those two principles are sort of like the ethereal, the metaphysical and the physical kind of meeting up. So it's all about that yin and yang type of thing, and also that he interestingly was an older man when he created his best artwork. He actually said, nothing that I've created under the age of 70 is worth anything. And so he lived to an old age, and basically the painting that I'm sort of looking at to reproduce here was painted when he was in his 70s, and he did that as a series of paintings of Mount Fuji, 36 views of Mount Fuji. So, and you can't see it on the shoes because the laces block it out, but Mount Fuji was really sacred, and just with that print as well, like the idea of the wave coming and sort of overwhelming these three little boats of merchants was such a palpable thing, I guess, because there was so much fear in Japan, and just that idea of, the world coming in and overtaking them. And I feel like that, it really, a lot of us could relate to that even now, like with everything that's going on. Like there's this sort of fear that this overcoming wave is going to come and engulf us. It's a powerful, powerful metaphor, and that print in particular was just so amazingly executed, just in the composition. Like you can really feel that wave, it's just overwhelming. You can feel the gravity of it and the force of it and the impending doom of it. It's just about to crash. So yeah, I love all that, the symbolism of water. It's just got so much in it that we can relate to. Or just as a side, when I painted the shoes, I didn't really need to worry about putting masking tape on the soles, because I just found that the paint came off with wet wipes. So yeah, I found as well that I needed lots and lots of layers. So I'm doing different colours, but the more layers, it really was just like painting on a canvas. And even though it's a shoe, and it probably doesn't look like the actual print because it's on a shoe, it's amazing how much when you paint a famous painting, you get into the head of the person who painted it, and you can really feel like you can see things from their eyes. Even though my style is like so different from Hokusai's, it couldn't even be more different, because I'm not a printmaker. I'm more of a painterly painter, I guess. And yeah, it's interesting. My next set of shoes is going to be another one that's been done lots of times before on shoes, but for a reason, because it works really well on a shoe. Van Gogh's wonderful, quintessential, ultra famous, uber famous Starry Starry Night. So, and I know it's so cliched, but I feel like I resonate so much with the way he painted, and once again, it's like you just really do get inside somebody's thoughts in a way when you try and reproduce their art. And I wonder how Hokusai and Van Gogh would feel about their work being reproduced on shoes and on everything else, like so many things. I know Hokusai's painting, I think, not painting, print, I think it was reproduced about 8,000 times or something. I mean, that's not including all the ridiculous ways it's been reproduced in pop culture, but I think, and it was only about 30 centimetres by 25 centimetres, so quite small too. So it's really interesting. If it was me, I wouldn't worry about it. I think that, a bit like Andy Warhol, I think that art shouldn't be highbrow and hold up somewhere where only certain people can see it. I feel like it's wonderful to be able to show it in a way that everyone can see it. And obviously it's important to keep artistic integrity within that, but I think it's all about sharing ideas and spreading joy and sharing our perspectives. Anyway, that was quite philosophical dogleg for painting shoes. I thought just at the end I should mention a few things about what I used to paint the canvas shoes, just in case you're thinking of having a go, because they're canvas, and I'll show you these ones that I'm working on. Actually, they're pretty much finished for my other nephew, my Van Gogh Starry Night ones. And yeah, because they're canvas, basically just treat it like as if I'm doing a painting on a canvas, except for it's sort of a little bit tricky to get around the shape of it. And I basically, to finish it off, adding a few fine lines really does help it a little bit, just because the shape of the shoe is so awkward. So basically use these Posca pens. I have got some generic brand paint pens. You can get, they're cheaper than Posca pens. They're okay, but they're not quite as good as these. So these are really, really good. And I use gloss medium with my paint to so that I didn't have to really use water. So it just gave the paint more of a body and a more opaque sort of feeling and a shiny look to it while I was painting it. And I always varnish my canvases with really, really high gloss varnish. This one's a Joe Sonia one, and honestly I find it fine. It's relatively cheap, but it's archival quality, and yeah, and it's water based, so that'll make sure that if these guys get in the weather, nothing will happen to them. Yeah, so you're basically doing a piece of artwork on some shoes, which is a wonderful thing. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe if you do like this video, and I'm planning on making more content as I'm able this year. And God bless, and I hope this finds you well and you have a wonderful week or evening or wherever you're at in life, and just encourage you to keep painting and being creative and be who you are. See ya.
Sometimes I feel like my days are numbered by. I look to the corners, fuck, I could just forget to be. Remember that you're the